Hey there, it's Brittany. I recently did a video making these bracelets from Sam's Bead Box, and I did my unboxing of the June Bargain Bead Box and saw these beads in there, which matched wonderfully. So I'm going to make a necklace to coordinate with my bracelets. So I went to my stash. I had a few beads left from Sam's Bead Box. And I will leave information about Sam's Bead Box and Bargain Bead Box in the description of this video. I have coupon codes for both of them if you're interested. So I have some beads left from Sam's Bead Box. I have the same spacers. And then I grabbed this wonderful pendant that is reminiscent of the heart on the bracelet. Isn't that fun? And some Czech glass that I thought would match. I also had some smaller Carnelian and some more banded red agate that really mixes well with the agate and the Carnelian from the June Bargain Bead Box. So I don't know that this necklace is going to be like groundbreaking in technique. But I just really wanted something that would match my bracelets or coordinate with my bracelets. So I'm gonna put my bracelet off to the side here, bracelets off to the side here. And unfortunately I used all of these beads or else I would incorporate more. But I'm glad I had 4 of these because I wanted the necklace to be a little chunkier than these beads would allow, because we have 6 and probably 4 millimeter here. So I have 4 of these left. And these are a little chunkier. So I want to get these, I call them UFO beads. And to maybe not use as many beads on this necklace to kind of save some of my Carnelian and of my agate, I'm going to finish the back off with some chain, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. That's a really good cheap alternative to using up all your beads. So let's actually get one of these in here, because I think these are, you know, mirror that pattern of that flower, although it's not like a flower itself, and the spray of the rays on this heart and again on this heart. So if you're looking for beads that maybe aren't exactly the same as the beads that you have in your piece, but they are reminiscent of the shape or the style or the technique, grab them, put them in your piece. All right, so I think I'm gonna put this like this, move these down here, but I want a lot more red in here because we have a lot of red in the bracelets, and that's what the look I want to go for. So I think that's all the turquoise I'm going to put in here, because if you see on each one of these, I really kept the turquoise to a minimum. So I also just got some new clasps from Jesse James Beads that are super close to the heart that I used on this bracelet. So I'm going to incorporate that. I'll leave a link below to those two. All right. And then I want some of the smaller, I love that these are faceted. I want some of these in here. And then some of these. Oh, I forgot about the banded or the agate that came with the Bargain Bead Box. How do I want to incorporate this? Okay, so it's almost like, I know this is the focal of the necklace, but we're also going to have like focal, maybe like call them focal stations throughout the necklace, which so I'm going to have 3 focals on this necklace. This right here, this band of beads a little bit further up. So we draw our eye up, and then this band that'll be on this side. And then the rest is kind of just filler. So we have 3 things on it that I really want to focus on this necklace: the pendant, this band of beads, and this band of beads. So then we're just going to kind of fill in around those. So we'll have, ooh, I have an interesting idea for these. Okay, so I want to see if I have ball head pins. If not, that's fine. I'll just use regular head pins. But if we do about like a cluster of those, I think that would be fun. I'm only seeing 2 ball head pins in my stash. It's not something I usually buy. No, that's okay. What we can do to give the look of ball head pins is grab a bunch of little tiny ball spacers. Now these aren't as tiny as ball head pins would be, but might work. If it doesn't work, it's fine. No, I don't like that. They're too big. That's okay. We'll just go with the regular head pins. You can wire wrap these, or you can just do a loop, a simple loop. See what it looks like wire wrapped. If I feel like doing it with these. That's a big loop. I would probably do a smaller loop on the rest of them. Yeah, I think that's cute. And then I'm going to cluster a bunch up towards the heart. So we'll have a bunch, probably at least 5 or 6 on each side, leading up to how I hang the heart. Now, I don't know if I'm just going to string it or if I'm going to come down to a jump ring yet. Haven't decided. So, love that. Love that. And then we have these 6mm. And then from this strand from Bargain Bead Box, I'm going for the most red. So some of these peachy pink, white, gray ones, I'm going to keep for a different project. So this one has like a big red stripe through it. These two have a lot of red, and this one has a lot of red. But this one's like almost only pink. We'll go with this one right here. And I just need one more. I think this guy back here. But now I still have a bunch over here for another project with a different color scheme, potentially. Then put those up here. I love these little banded agates, but I don't know if we're going to work them in here or not yet. Let's see. I guess we could. Oh, I love that. And then I'm going to try 8 to start to see if I like it, and then go up or down from there. That is so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wire wrap all these and I'll be back. Okay, so I tested it out and I really did like the 8 together, but what I noticed is it started looking a little clumpy because of the gold. So what I'm gonna do is put 1 carnelian between every 2 of these on my wire. What's that? That's going to cause it to be a little red heavy down here, which is fine because the bracelet is red heavy, but I do want a little bit of turquoise to draw my eye down. Again, we're creating a focal piece here and a focal piece here. So what I decided to do is hang the pendant below a red agate, banded agate, and another saucer or UFO bead. So I grabbed some 24 gauge wire. This is just wire I got on clearance from Hobby Lobby a while back. I'm just going to pull off a piece, probably about 8 or 9 inches long. And then I'm going to go ahead and go through my saucer, then my agate. I want the bands facing up. I'm gonna come down through my pendant. And I could just do a wire wrap, but this is just a little bit easier, coming back up through both of these beads. Okay, so that creates a loop here where I don't have to have that wire wrapped piece right between my bead and my pendant. I'm going to scooch this guy all the way down. This might be a little difficult, but just take your time. I want the more bands towards the front. And then I'm going to grab my nylon jaw pliers and hold on to the wire and scooch that bead down as far as I can. And then do that with my saucer. So there, we don't, I love wire wraps, but we don't have any wire wraps here, kind of not marring, but drawing away from the beauty of that pendant. I am going to wire wrap right here though. All right, so we have two choices. We can just keep the wire straight like this or twist it. I'm just going to keep it straight. And because it'd be a little bit more difficult to twist them because I don't want this to be twisted down here. So if you want to take the time, that's fine, but I think it'll be beautiful the way it is. So I'm just going to hold both wires together, bend back, reposition my pliers, bend around, reposition again, come back around. So we've made our loop like that. And then I'm just going to come around and wire wrap. And I will just make sure that that ends in the back. So a beautiful pendant. And I'm putting it forward like this because I'm going to hang it from a jump ring and then connect onto the jump ring with the beaded wire. So it's going to be like this. Instead of this just hanging on a beaded necklace, this is truly gonna be the focal piece instead of a pendant just hanging on the rest of the necklace. So we'll end up crimping right on to this jump ring like this. You really want to make sure that the jump ring's closed. So there we go with our pendant. So pretty. And I'm going to start stringing, but I didn't forget about my brass spacer beads. Dump out a bunch of those. And I'm not going to go between every bead like I did on the bracelet because the thought process behind using 2 between each bead was to focal point each bead because they were so gorgeous. I don't want that on this necklace. I don't want each bead to be a focal. I want this section of beads and this section of beads to be a focal. So we're going to appropriately string it to where those will be the focal. So I'm using some Beadalon 19 strand bead stringing wire in gold. And I have a couple options. I could use one of these culottes or clamshells, whatever you want to call them, and use that to hook onto my jump ring. but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use some crimp beads or crimp tubes, whatever you have on hand. You can always cover them up with a crimp cover. Move this down. And just make sure my wires aren't crossed. Oops, it's a little too close for me. Okay, and then just crimp. And fold. And turn 90 degrees and fold. There we go. So that's one side of the necklace. Now I'm going to start by loading on a carnelian, one of the faceted ones. And then I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to put on 2 carnelians and then 2 carnelian head pinned beads and then one that's not. So we're breaking up a lot of that gold. So nice. Okay, and then I'm going towards my 3 carnelian rounds. And then here I'm going to put my 2 brass spacers. Oops. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. Let's move it down. Please excuse the wire, I'll fix that later. This is just going up one side. We'll obviously be recreating the other side once I'm finished stringing the right side of the necklace. And so I want to make sure that each of these beads gets the attention that they deserve. So that's when I'm going to put through my 2 spacers. Now, if you wanted it to just be like a block of beads, that's fine, but I want each one of these beads to get attention. So we're coming down here, and they're wonderfully spaced, and they look so nice together. And it's not going to come off that I used beads that weren't coordinating, even though these beads aren't even showing up on this necklace. Okay. So there is my bead focal, just right there. And then I have a decision to make. So I have these 3 agates from my Bargain Bead Box. They are going on here. I think I'm going to I'm going to look at my chain and see if I have anything that I think would go well. Okay, sorry if you can hear my neighbor's car behind me. He's got a really loud car. I found some brass chain that I really loved and loved the look of for this necklace, but I don't have a lot of it. So I'm going to supplement it. I'm going to put actually my 3 carnelian right here, and then I'm going to do 3 of the banded agate and then more carnelian until it's long enough for me to add the chain in the back. So let's do that because it's echoing the 3 carnelian that are right here. And then I'm going to put on a spacer. I'm actually going to do 2 here. And then I am not going to just put 3 of these in a row. I am going to do 1, a spacer, another spacer, and then another, and then 2 more spacers. And then I will do some more carnelian until, more of the 6mm carnelian, until I'm ready for the chain. So that makes it another small focal set right there. So pretty. Love, love, love it. I could go up the back of the necklace after this second set of 3 and finish off with the rest of these and put spacers in between, which while I think it would be wonderful and beautiful, I don't want to waste my carnelian. I want to use these on a future project, and this I'll achieve the same effect just using some chain. So I'm going to go ahead and string this side and I'll be back. Okay, so I have everything strung and I'm really, really loving it. I cannot wait to wear it. This actually might just be okay as an over the head necklace. Now that I think about it, I might not need that clasp, which means I can save it for a future project, but it's looking, camera's not showing how really pretty this is. So I want to end up crimping onto my chain. If you're not comfortable with that, you can crimp right onto a jump ring, but I'm okay with just crimping right onto the chain. I want to make sure that my tails get kind of hidden in. Actually, I don't know if the hole for this carnelian's big enough to do that. Because these are such tiny beads, that might not work for us. Yeah, it's not. I'm just going to cut it down by the crimp bead, and then I'm going to put on a crimp cover to cover that up because I don't like how that looks sometimes. So that'll just mean that I'll do the same at the back of the necklace with the chain too. I'll use a crimp cover there. They look like little Pac-Mans. Little Pac-Men? Oh goodness. Alright, sometimes they don't line up right away. So you just gotta kind of finagle them until they line up. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do the other side. This one is kind of too clamped around the actual wire itself, so I need to get that off of there and redo it. It's going to be a little difficult though because I squished it. But this is why we want to keep these in the video, so you can see if you do the same thing how to fix it, and to show that I'm human and I do mess up. Careful of your fingers. So I'm just kind of getting that opening bigger and bigger so I can squeeze the tips of my crimping pliers in there, because that'll bust it open like the jaws of life. So once I can get both tips in, so keep ramming one in until it opens up wider, and then trying to get both in, and then opening. There we go. It's getting there. There we go. So now that guy probably still pretty okay, pretty usable, but I'm going to use a different one. So I'm going to be kind of careful here because I don't want to damage my wire. And I'm just making sure. I might need to... No, this crimp is solid. It's not going anywhere. Okay. Just making sure I didn't damage the wire there and have to recrimp. So just making sure that I don't clamp it around the wire itself. It's just around the crimp bead. There we go. Much better. Much better that time around. Just get it a little bit more closed, but it's not like pinching that wire like it was before. Okay, so I am going to end up crimping onto my chain. Now, because we have 2 wires on this necklace, it's not as important that we do the necklace loosey-goosey. However, you don't really want it to be completely straight when you're crimping, just because it'll still look funky. It's just going to be a little bit easier because we have a joint where that the jump ring is. Okay, get that strand out of the way while we're doing this, making sure that those are laying pretty nicely. Okay, already got my crimp bead on. I'm going to find one end of my chain and then come back through the crimp. Just making sure I can't get it through that bead because I can. Okay. It helps with leverage. So I'm pulling here. These beads are going to act as a stopper, so I'm able to pull instead of worrying about other things. So let's see. Instead of worrying about regulating how much wire is coming through myself. Oh, this came out of the tiniest little hole in this chain. To prevent that, you might want to use a split ring or a wire guard. I'm not too worried about it because I was pulling really hard on it, and that's why it happened. And I'm not that hard on my jewelry. Okay, and then I will go ahead and crimp. I'm not worried about this little piece of wire showing because the crimp cover will eliminate most of that when I put it on. And squish it, turn it 90 degrees. And close. Then I'm gonna snip, and I'll do the exact same thing on the other side and add a crimp cover. All right, so here is the finished necklace. I am in love with it. I love, love, love this little detail here. I love that the heart plays off of the little sun rays in this other heart. It truly looks like all of these beads were made to go together. Loving that the eye's drawn up with the turquoise and larger beads, and then we taper down into the brass chain. So I am super duper happy with this set. I will be wearing it a lot. I love red and turquoise together, and yeah, it makes me happy. Let me know what you think. And if you might try this necklace or the bracelets, let me know. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay tuned for Goldie. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.